folks, and welcome back to Roller Coaster Tycoon 2. We're in our last of our beginner parks. This is Bumbly Bazaar. Starting with a small market bazaar, your challenge is to increase the profit from shops and stalls to build rides and roller coasters to attract more customers. We achieve a monthly profit from food and drink and merchandise for at least $1,000. All right, so this was one of my favorites. I'm sorry to keep going down memory lane, but this is one of the ones where you first got a lot of rides available, and I love this one because there's so much you can do with it because there's so much open space. So we're gonna deal with this area here. I hate this area with a burning passion. We're gonna slowly redesign it to be better and easier to use and all of that stuff. But before we can do any of that, I just need to, get everything rearranged the way that I want it to be rearranged, and then we can do the actual work here. But we're gonna make sure everything's at least $2 for our initial run of stuff here. Not that we want it to be super cheap or super expensive, but that sounds like a reasonable amount of money for what we have here. So we're just gonna set up our main paths. Then I'll go through and fix them. Well, basically change out what we have currently because I don't like the current setup. And this is, if you haven't watched my videos before, this is what I do. So I go through and cause chaos. And then once the chaos is done, then I have a park that I'm generally somewhat happy with, or at least meets the goals of the thing here. So we're going to do this one. This is not a super hard challenge. It's in the beginner parks. It's not all that big of a deal. But let's go ahead and knock this bad boy or girl out as quickly as we can. So we're going to go in here. I'm just trying to get rid of stuff as we finish it out, just so I don't have to come back and try to get people off of the paths later. We'll spread all of this out. Let's get rid of that fence there. I hate fences in Roller Coaster Tycoon and Parkitect for that matter. They just divide up paths way more than they need to be. All right, we got all of that. So now we can actually start doing the actual work of getting all of this broken down better, quicker, faster, stronger, all of those things. So let's go in here and go into all this. We haven't even discussed what rides we have yet, and that's okay. We'll get there in a sec. This is one of the first ones. I think it's the first one that we had. Oh, no, it's not the first one. Excuse me. But that we have separate entrances where they are most definitely going to provide us some fun here. So people can go all the way through all the sides of the park, which I love and also hate because it provides some challenges. Let's pause real fast, take a look at what we have. We have a monorail, as we've had in every scenario so far, and I've yet to use them. I don't know if I've built a monorail, period, quite honestly. We have a chairlift, an okay selection of those. It would be it's an okay selection because of this. Otherwise, it kind of sucks. But it's okay because of that. Awful, doable, and we know that one works. All right, so we need thrill rides, and we need roller coasters. Those are our main points of contact here. Do we have a cash machine? Heck yeah, we do. That's all we really needed to worry about. So we're going to unpause. We're going to get some info kiosks set up. And again, I always make the park maps 50 cents because that seems excessive. Although in today's society, getting a park map at an amusement park is much harder than it should be. But most parks now don't have them as anything other than an app, which I personally hate. I already don't want to carry around my cell phone if I could avoid it at an amusement park. But that seems to be a thing that we just have to do now if we want to look at a map. Now, generally, the parks I go to, I generally know well enough, or I study well enough, because I'm the nerd who does that, that I don't need to worry about any of that stuff, but it's still nice to have. Like, I was at Universal about a year ago at this point, and their app is very useful because it actually gives you ride times and like legitimate ride times, not the stuff that you see at lots of other parks. Like, it gives you a legit, real thing, which is always nice to have. So we're going to go through and we're just going to set up some of the basic stuff here. I'm just moving all of these things out to other areas, mainly because I want to do stuff, and I can't do stuff until we have this area kind of established a little bit better. So we'll do all that work. We'll get all this set up. Again, 250 for a hat sounds reasonable. I'm going to get rid of the seafood stall here. I actually really dislike it. I'm going to put a pizza stall down here a little farther. And we'll get a drink stall for that. We actually don't have a legit drink stall yet, and that's fine. We won't really need it. And what else do we have here? A t-shirt stall. Okay. And what's that going to cost? $4, sure. All right, now I don't remember what our guests do and don't have as far as their items right now, or I should say as far as their cash coming in, because that does matter and it does influence kind of how you approach different levels. If you have people who are coming in with lots of money, it's really easy. If you have people who are coming in with not so much money, it gets a lot harder. But we've wasted enough time doing this. We just need to, you know, build everything out here. So let me just delete these, delete all of this, and then I'm just going to pick up the guests and get them back to where they're supposed to be, which is on the paths that I have deleted. But you can see they are coming to us hungry, so that's a good thing for us. The only problem we really have right now is that they are also wanting to go home because there is nothing to do. So let's go ahead and build some stuff here and at least get started. And my general approach for this park in particular is build outside in. So we're going to start off out here. And give people something to do right when they get to the park. It's not going to be anything big or amazing, but it's going to be something. And then once we have that something, then we can focus on the big amazing parts. But we can't do any of that right yet because we don't have anything all that amazing to actually showcase right now. So we'll get the basic parts built out here. Let's see, I want to knock that part right down. So I can get that there. Bam, bam. I did strongly dislike that color, particularly the yellow. Oh, that looks better, I think. Open that up. Get that in there. Change it over to green. Boop, 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 boop. There we go. All right. We actually have some rides now that we can do stuff with. We have log flumes, which we have a mountain over here and another one over there. I love that this park is symmetrical. So we can get a log flume going, but we have about $4,000. I think I'm going to spend that on some type of kiddie coaster type thing that's going to exist somewhere in this area. I don't want to go too crazy with anything yet. I also don't want to take up prime land, which this is kind of the heart of the park, so I might actually place it over here, although I really want to build like a twister coaster over there. What else do we have? No, that's going to, I mean, if we're going to build a ride, it has to be this, but I'm actually going to put it over in this area, I think. That's going to, it's not prime location, but I think it'll be better for what we want to do. And let's see, how do I want to... Trying to figure out how I want to approach this one here. So we'll do the block break there. Put in our little station area, which looks great. That's the max we can do with that. Okay. Reverser coaster, not my favorite. Come on. There we go. And we're just going to dipsy do. I want to dipsy do differently, but not going to be able to. Let's do that. There we go. Let's see, Wait, do I want to have it increase in speed going down? Why not? We can take a little loany loan out. How much we got here? Oh my goodness. 40,000. And I don't know if I've noticed this before or not, or if I've just been asleep at the wheel, but it shows you what we have here. So if we go in here, it has shop sales and then food and drink. So they add those together and we get our price there. Okay, that's very cool. Which it does count profit. It's not just income, it's profit. So I kind of dig that. This coaster feels very fairgroundsy to me. So let's see, if I put a block brake right there, let it come up and in, then we can throw on our regular brakes. And I know these are way faster than what this thing's going to be coming in at, but that's okay. We can play with that. All right, what cars do we have? Is it only Ladybird? No, we have log ones as well. Only 2 trains is what we're going to do. Speed that bad boy up. Let's test it. And let's paint it while that's happening and see what we can come up with here. No, not that. I struggle with the coloring on this coaster. I just don't. Sure, that's what we're gonna go with. And I'm not really paying attention to how fast it's going or what it's doing because I don't really care. I just needed to complete the circuit, which it looks like it's going to do no problem, and not present us with any other issues. Looks like we have that part of it handled. We can go in and connect this over. And eventually it's going to come out here. We just won't connect that part yet. All right. Drop that down. Boop, 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 boop. Boop, boop, boop. There we go. Call it Lumberjack Run. We have to do some math here real fast. What is that? 68. So 34 is the max there. We'll drop that to 30 seconds. This one's going to drop to like 20. Let's go with 25. All right, what are our ratings? Oh, not terrible, but not great. $4 sounds reasonable. All right, we'll open that bad boy up. Let's take a look. We don't have any staff right now, so that's probably something we should do. I'm going to hire significantly more than what I normally would at this stage. And the reason for that is this is a massive park. From one end to the other, it's very far apart from other places. So we need to just kind of take that into account and make sure we have that set up. All right, we have another coaster coming our way, and then after that, I'm going to turn off coasters because we can't continue to build coasters. We need to build other things. I'm hoping I want one of 2 things. I want a wooden coaster, or I want a small coaster like a Wild Mouse or what is the Mouse Towers ride, whatever that one is. So I can throw it at the other end of the park, and then we need to purely switch over to some of this other stuff because we're missing lots of things from this park right now. I should add a cash machine somewhere in here. We don't have any in the park yet. And near all of these spots, I'm going to also add on a bathroom. Throw another bathroom here. And then at the ends of the parks, we need to make sure we have more cash machines. I don't like making a line of like 5 items right in a row, but it doesn't really leave us a choice right now with what we're doing. Wooden coaster, heck yeah. All right, so the wooden coaster is going to probably... I don't know where it's going to exist yet. We need to have other stuff going on, but I'm going to switch over just so we have thrill rides only right now. Once we get that wooden coaster, because that's a lot of coaster for us. And we'll see how good of a job we do here. But we're going to fast forward a little bit here. We'll see if we're bringing any extra income. We absolutely, at least in ride tickets, we went from $4 to $264, and we decreased that a little bit, which is fine because we weren't really doing too much. I am going to get rid of some of these fence areas because I do not want them. There we go. Okay. Theming wise, I didn't really look at what we have. We've like, what is this? Why would I build that in this park? Like, why is that available to me? I don't get it. Spooky stuff, cool. This stuff, cool. This stuff, cool. Cool. Cool, I guess. Whatever. And then you have your regular stuff. But yeah, there's some odd choices in this one that make it a little bit more fun to play. But we'll see how we do as we progress through this park. And this one is just kind of a slow burn because we don't have a lot of rides to build right out of the gate. And because of that, it takes a little while to get a collection of rides built and designed in here that we can actually be successful with. So it's going to take us a little time to build out what we need to build out. But once we have it built out, we'll be in really good shape. So I want to speed this up again here. I think this is the first level that I ever saw the Enterprise at as well. I didn't have it through any of the other ones. I think this is the first one. So sorry for another trip down memory lane, but it's me, and that's what I'm going to do. Magic Carpet, not my favorite ride in the world, but you can see like these giant, vast areas where there's just nothing. This is the kind of stuff that helps out with that. So like we can throw this like right over here once we have enough money. Oh, look, we have enough money. But I can throw that in there. It fits in really nicely. I think $2 is enough for that ride. We'll wait for a full load, all that stuff. I need to paint it because I don't like the current color scheme. Yellow and red. Does that work? No, that's terrible. Let's go back to that violet color and white. Okay. There we go. Cool. Not my favorite again, but whatever. It's good enough. I don't know why these rides aren't super popular. I think they're super fun in real life, but that's just me. A lot of the rides in Roller Coaster Tycoon that get bumped down as far as what guests like, it personally love. Like a Scrambler over here, a Twist. I love that ride in real life. I think it's one of the greatest rides ever built, but this ride, or in this game, it gets low, low, low. Alright, so we'll get some more thrill rides here hopefully shortly. We have a wooden coaster that we can plow in there. We have a twisting hyper coaster or twister coaster, whatever it's called. Actually, I should see what cars we have with that once we have some money. We're slowly digging ourselves out of the hole. We have enough to build that. What do we have? Ooh, I didn't realize that they had done that with this. Okay, so this is the 4-cross. So this is the B&M style, where we get 15% excitement and 3% nausea, or excuse me, intensity. This one we get 10% and 3, but it affects 6 people per car. Interesting. And these are, so you have the B&M ones, and these are Genova, or I forget how it's pronounced, but it's the Goliath and Titan ride at Six Flags Magic Mountain. And I think the other one's over Texas that they have. We're up around 400 guests right now. We are increasing the number of guests that we have. Finance-wise, you can see we are up to $253, so we're a quarter of the way there with having our 4 rides. We're not really making money, but that's okay. We have lots of loan that we can take out. Motion simulator, heck yeah. Another good fill-in ride that's not going to bother anybody. It's pretty vanilla, but it will draw people in. But I can only do that if we can afford it. So let's go ahead and take out some more loanage. Let's build our little motion simulator ride. I actually am kind of happy that we have it packed back here. I can do this. I think I can get away with $3 on that all day long. But then I should be able to do that. And do that. There we go. All right. And then we can open that bad boy up. And I think I'm just going to build a wooden coaster. I want to build I really want to build this. Like, that's what I want to build. We just don't have the money for it quite yet. The other option I have is to build a water ride in here. So I could build a coaster in this area, bring this down, and build the water ride, which isn't the worst option. What does that look like if we do that? Turn. Articulate, it's my friends. Can I get away with less than that? No, okay. So I need that. That'll give me the 12 that I want. There we go. All right. Lift Hill City. And if you look at how I build a lot of my twisted kind of coasters, it has a similar feel, but that's what they're supposed to do. Like the GCIs, like when those were really in vogue, like this is what they did. So they had curve drops, then they'd kind of spin out there, and then they'd dive and dipsy-do all day long, all over themselves. So that's what I'm kind of trying to emulate here, is that kind of style of ride. Oh, would have been nice, but it's not going to work there. That's fine. I'm going to have to build out the brake run a little bit here just to make sure that I have all of the things that I want to have there. All right, that looks good. All right, can I get a dramatic drop in there before that? No, most definitely not, but I can do it if I do it this way. All right, could have done it if I did it that way. Let's see, can I drop that in there? Oh, I can. And I don't know why I continue to build really compact coasters or unnecessarily compact coasters, but I just love how they look. I think they're super fun. And that's how I like to build stuff, particularly these type of coasters. I think they really lend themselves to being compact. There are a few exceptions to that. I'm thinking of like Lightning Racer, but I think that one is not compact because of the nature of the ride itself. It's a racing / dueling wooden coaster. It has to be kind of open. But yeah, I really dig designing twisted kind of rides like that. It's fun for me. Okay, so we got that. Throw that in there. Do some painting. I like the tan color for all of this stuff. I think it looks nice. We'll get the tan seats in there. Nope. Tan. All right. Let's go with the Omron burgundy color. And we'll go with the violet to match what's there. Cult Dune Runner. What rides have super long queues? Lumberjack Run is 11 minutes. My God. Okay. Well, we'll fix that here real fast. You're going to go over there, and you're just going to entertain all of the people. All right, let's go on board this bad boy, see what we got. I did not adjust the lift hill speed at all, which is one of the first times I think I've done that in a while. But I really love this interaction of the diving stuff in and on itself. I think that's pretty fun. And we'll see what we get from the rest of that. All right. Oop. Slap over. Cool. Do it again. Cool. Yeah, even at like when they're diving down and that one's going past, that's a fun interaction. I'll have to adjust the timing a little bit, but heck yeah. All right. 212, so 72, so 36 is the halfway point on that. That means we're going to go about 32 seconds down here. And 27 there. This is going to be a first ride that we're actually going to make some money on. So we'll do that. I don't know if on-ride photos, to me, on-ride photos should count as shops. I know they don't in the game, but they should. That's really what it is. It's an upsell. And we're going to throw in another cash shop around this area because why not? I'll even throw a nurse's stand in their first aid room. We're at 500 people in the park. We're at $680 from sales, which is mind-boggling to me. But I think people, when they come into this park, are coming very hungry and or very thirsty. So like if we take a look at this guy, he only spent money, but all he did was buy, he's carrying a map and lemonade. Like he only spent $250, but he spent it on those two items. All right, we only have 10 grand to spare, so I'm glad I built this and not a twister coaster because that would have been a problem. We're gonna kind of outline where this is going to go next. So this guy's going to come over here like so, and that's going to be where our water ride entrance is. We'll probably have it over here. The exit will be right here. Come out, and then the pathway for that will loop around. That's the plan. I want to build some middle of the road stuff. I just need to see. Top spin, not an ideal thrill ride. It gave us two bangers in a row. You can see that this one's semi-popular, this one's popular, but it did not answer our call for that. And I've been really building lots of queues that are just way too long recently. But you can see we can solve it with TVs and entertainers. I don't know why I keep building them that long. I just want to make long lines. And I usually don't get throw up in lines. That's interesting. All right, so we should be doing the work that we need to. I'm going to pay back a loan here, so we are in the hole, but we'll come back out of it. Again, I'm way more staffed up than I need to be right now, but that's because it's such a large park. So staffing's cost me a bit of money. Not a ton, but it's costing me more than I'd like. All right. Well, generally, I usually spend a little bit more time on this one, but it seems like we got that beat within the first year. So, folks, thanks for joining me. You can see that we made $1,075, but not a big deal. I just kept all the original equipment and went through. But this park gives you lots of space to experiment and play with things, and I'm pretty happy with this coaster, and I actually really dig this coaster too. I think it's they're both really well designed. As far as this one in particular, this looks like a coaster that would be like at a fair or something like that, or that style of ride. It has high intensity, medium excitement, and medium nausea. That sounds about right. And then this one, I really like it. The only thing I want to do, or that I would do different, is probably turn it in here so it stays more compact. This little bump out here on that doesn't. I like the look of it visually. But I think functionally in the ride, if you were to like make a blueprint or something like that, it causes problems that it doesn't need to cause. I could solve that with just turning it in, and that be that. But folks, that's going to wrap it up for us. Thanks for joining me. I appreciate your time, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.